Hi and welcome to the channel and a little video on 10 of my favourite albums by female artists. And we'll kick off with Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark from 1974. In the 1970s, Joni Mitchell was one of those artists you just had to follow. You had to get every new album the day it was released. Joni was always out there, perfecting her art, always pushing the boundaries. And after the impeccable singer-songwriter folk rock of the wonderful Blue and For the Roses, few could have predicted that her next album, Court and Spark, would see her moving into the world of jazz rock, jazz pop. For Court and Spark, Joni brought in some of the finest session musicians around. Court and Spark abounds with beautiful textured soundscapes and rich melodic invention. Joni seems challenged by the dazzling array of stellar musicians around her, and it seems to push her flawless voice to ever new heights. She also provides her own backing vocals, with the use of multi-tracking coming across as a choir of the gods. Court and Spark in places has this infectious jazzy swing, and it's musical ear candy from start to finish. If any album deserves to be remixed in 5.1 surround sound, this surely does. Every track is a highlight. The opening track, the title track, acts like a bridge from For the Roses to the rest of this album. It's basically just Joni on piano. Car on a Hill, where Wayne Perkins' keening guitar solo and Joni's multi-track vocals capture the pain, frustration and loss of an affair's end. Down to You, which music journalist Mark Bigot describes as a sheer masterpiece, and Pitchfork media critic Jessica Hopper describes the arrangement as being stunning in its complexity. The piece, to me, is like a mini rock opera with some beautiful sweeping orchestral passages and Joni giving a stellar performance on piano, where she uses major key, minor key, diminished and augmented chords. Again, music journalist Mark Bigot describes Mitchell's playing as being like a jazz solo. Twisted is an Annie Ross cover. It's written in the style of a jazz saxophone solo. Joni captures it with ease, an indication of the paths she would be following just a few short years later. Masterpiece is an overused word these days, but Court and Spark certainly deserves that title. It's a 10 out of 10 album. Patti Smith, Horses, November 1975. PJ Harvey. I heard Horses once and it was brilliant. Not so much her music as her delivery, her words, her articulation, her honesty. By the time 1975 rolled around, I'd been following Patti's career for a while, as she started playing the New York clubs, CBGB's and Max's Kansas City, and USA punk rock was starting to take off. Rock and roll, when you are young, is all about attitude, rebellion and tons of energy. 1975 though was a time of epic guitar solos, keyboard extravaganzas played by men in gold capes, and drum solos where you could go and have a toilet break, go to the bar, have a drink, decide to have another one and then get back before the drum solo had finished. A lot of bands had become distant from the younger fans. It had all become a bit corporate. Patti and her band, with their energetic, basic 3-chord garage rock, coupled with Patti's in-your-face persona and stream of consciousness lyrics, came across like a breath of fresh air. Despite what the critics said back then, the band could really play. They weren't technical virtuosos, but they knew their stuff. The album Horses opens with the all-time classic line, "Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine." And the song builds in intensity as Patti relates the story of a liaison with another woman. And then we build and eventually the piece morphs into Van Morrison's classic rock anthem, Gloria, Gloria. Land, where Patti's free-form rap leads us into Fat Waller's Land of a Thousand Dances, and then we flip back to the stream of consciousness lyrics while the band free-form improvise behind Patti. Should it work? No. Does it work? Yes. It's magnificent. The Patti Smith Band could also produce a classic rock song all of their own. Take a listen to Free Money. Sammy Hagar thought so also, including the song on his first solo album. But take a listen to J.D. Doherty's drumming. It's just incredible. Patti also preempts punk's strange relationship with reggae on Redondo Beach. At the Roxy Club, London's answer to CBGB's, DJ Don Letts would spin reggae discs in between the live punk acts. Joe Strummer of The Clash and Johnny Rotten were huge fans, and the great Bob Marley, remember, wrote Punky Reggae Party. Check out Redondo Beach's rhythm track, it's a stunner. Kimberly sounds like early Talking Heads, while Elegy, which ends the album, is a beautiful, moving tribute to those we had lost just a few years before, Morrison, Hendrix and Joplin. No other album sounds like Horses. It exists in a sonic world all of its own. Viv Albertine of The Slits stated that Horses absolutely and completely changed her life. Us girls never stood in front of a mirror, posing as if we had a guitar, because we had no role models. So when Patti Smith came along, it was huge. She was so groundbreakingly different. Car Wheels on a Gravel Road by Lucinda Williams. I like to think that in a parallel universe somewhere, there's this roadhouse, a real old honky-tonk, where Lucinda Williams and her band play about 6 sets a night. Lucinda would regale us with all her tales of love, lust, macho guitar players, drunken poets, sinners and saviours. Her band can play anything. Swamp blues, Cajun, country, southern roots rock, whatever accompaniment is required. And they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and you can just walk in anytime, day or night, and they're playing. Too Cool to Be Forgotten. You can't depend on anything really. There's no promises, there's no point. There's no good, there's no bad in this dirty little joint. No dope smoking, no beer sold after 12 o'clock. Rosedale, Mississippi Magic City juke joint. Mr. Johnson sings over in a corner by the bar. Sold his soul to the devil so he can play guitar. Too cool to be forgotten. Too cool to be forgotten. Man running through the grass outside says he wants to take up serpents. Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. On one hand, it feels lazy, languid and loose. But on repeated listens, you realise just how exquisitely crafted an album it really is. Every second means something and has its place. The album went through a few incarnations until Professor Roy Bittan added his magic touch as a producer and adding his own keyboards, accordion, guitar and backing vocals. Lucinda Williams is one of the great American singer-songwriters. She's up there with Springsteen, Joni Mitchell, whoever you want to name. I'll be doing a full review of this album sometime in the near future. Lana Del Rey, Chemtrails Over the Country Club, released 2021. The first time I heard Lana was the film The Great Gatsby, where she sang a song called Young and Beautiful. The film and that song kind of capture Lana for me. She writes these wonderful songs, little movies, little film noirs that are full of Hollywood decadence, a mythical Americana, of love found and love lost. You feel like you've heard her songs before, but you haven't. Chemtrails Over the Country Club is Lana's 7th album, And I know a lot of people dismiss her as just another pop singer, but she isn't. I urge you to listen to her albums. There is a reason why Bruce Springsteen calls her America's best current songwriter. For this album and her previous album, she has joined forces with producer, musician and writer Jack Antonoff, and that collaboration has taken Lana to new heights. The other thing I like about Lana is the way she has brought in all these other young female artists on Chemtrails. Her collaboration with Nikki Lane on the brilliant Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, or bringing in Zella Day and Wise Blood's Natalie Merring for a stellar version of Joni Mitchell's For Free. As well as this, she has her friendships with Joan Baez and Stevie Nicks. It seems she is surrounding herself with the best women singer-songwriters around, which can only bode well for the future. A country-style album with Nikki Lane is in the pipeline, which brings me neatly to my next selection, Highway Queen by Nikki Lane. I was brought here by Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, and since I come across this album, I just haven't been able to stop playing it. Nikki, the self-proclaimed queen of outlaw country, has produced a gem of a record. For me, country is best when combined with rock and pop elements. A country song laced with killer hooks and melodies is a winner in my book. Nikki has done that. She's blended country, pop, rockabilly, southern rock and come up with one of those albums that once you've finished it, once that last track has finished, you just want to play it all over again. 700,000 Rednecks cooks along in fine fashion as Miss Lane outlines the long journey to stardom. 700,000 rednecks, that's what it takes to get to the top. 700,000 rednecks, no, there ain't no one gonna make me stop. Well, I travel around from town to town. I do the best I can every day. I drive long hours and I don't get to shower, and I ain't gonna brag about the pay. She can go from the boisterous rollicking jackpot, Viva Las Vegas, Atlantic City rendezvous, weekend in Reno, late night casino, I go anywhere with you. Straight into the Buddy Holly Texas blues of Companion. She's hard and she's sassy, and you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Nikki. Like on Big Mouth, if you don't shut that pretty mouth, then I think I could show you how. This bad reputation just fell on me. Sometimes you got to be taught to believe. The beautiful, tender country waltz of Send the Sun. Darling, believe me, I'll never deceive ya. We got this love, let's keep it right. Never be lonely, 'cause I love you only. If we can just make it through this night. The album ends with a classic. The sad, slow burn of Forever is Forever. The only ring left on my finger is a lighter shade of skin, untouched by the sun. The only physical reminder in this empty house of him. Yeah, we swore, for better or for worse. And it was better at first, and worse at the end. Now I know, forever lasts forever, till forever becomes never again. The whole album is beautiful, assured, crafted songwriting, performed by a woman who should be by now a massive star. She has that, that intangible magic. There's something about Nikki Lane when you see her perform or on this album, that indefinable magic quality that great artists and great performers have. Let's see what the future brings. Well, this ends part 1, the first 5 albums, and very shortly I'll be uploading my video for the next 5 out of my 10 albums. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel, and as soon as I get the second part done, I will be putting it up. Thanks for listening. Take care, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.